One of my traditions at Christmas time is to always have turkey, of course, but before that is to have a gammon on the go. I've made gammon dozens of times, and it's not just about the gammon itself, but the glaze you put it in afterwards. I absolutely love gammon. It's sort of salty and strong flavoured, and yet kind of sweet as well. I tend to prefer the smoked version of gammon just to get one more dimension of flavour throughout it. We call it gammon in the UK. It's the top part of the hind leg of the pig, so you get a really chunky round of meat, and as such is absolutely full of flavour. It's just one of those weird quirks of butchery between nations where we have a joint called the gammon, which is a very, very top hind leg. It's like a big joint of bacon or ham. Like bacon, it's cured and usually smoked, but it does require cooking before you can eat it. You can roast it in the oven, you'll get a more intense flavour, a more concentrated flavour, but it's hard to control how tender that meat is. Alternatively, you can cook it sous vide in a water bath. I've done it on this channel before, and that's a really good way to absolutely control how cooked the meat is. And obviously everything stays in the same container. I'm going to simmer it today. Usually you pop it in there with some root veg and aromatics. It's largely do what you like, and you can use up odds and ends here, and in fact you don't have to use anything at all, but I like it because it imparts a nice flavour to the broth that it sits in for a couple of hours. Here I'm going to give you my recipe for mulled wine gammon, giving you the taste of the seasons and making you feel utterly festive. So I'm going to start with the smoked gammon joint. This is about 750 grams, and I'm going to put it into a pot with some root veg. What you have here really doesn't matter. I've got an old carrot on the turn, a bit of onion, a bit of celery, a bay leaf, and a sprinkling of peppercorns. But to be honest, if you had none of these, it wouldn't matter too much. You're just going to use this stock to infuse the gammon as it cooks. Cover with water and cook for about an hour and a half to 2 hours. Until you can poke a skewer in it and the meat just drops off when you pick it back up again. The house will smell fantastic during this time. While this goes on, you can make your glaze. Mulled wine is a warm, spiced drink perfect for chilly evenings. It's usually a robust red wine infused with cinnamon, star anise, cloves, and all these similar wintry warm spices. The recipe is largely up to you, whatever you'd prefer to use. To prepare this, you gently heat the wine with your spices of choice. Not bringing it to a boil, just a gentle simmer, just to start everything coming together and to release all the natural flavours in the spices. You may want to add some sweetener, some sugar or honey, syrup perhaps, to balance out the robustness of the red wine. This drink is a treat. It's not something you're going to grab a big tankard full. Well, you shouldn't, but a little sip is just right. It's perfect for the colder months, and hence why you always see it around at Christmas. I like a bit of mulled cider too. In this recipe, the rich sweetness of the mulled red wine offsets all the strong, salty, smoky flavours of the gammon. It's just a perfect pairing. It's really easy to do. The only danger you have is potentially over-reducing the wine in your pan so that it burns. So just watch out for that one. Other than that, it's dead easy. You can either start with a red wine and flavour it yourself with cinnamon, cloves, star anise and the like. But I'm using a ready-made mulled wine that I picked up from a local Christmas market, a glühwein, close enough. You need about 350 ml of that, and you're going to put it into a pan. I'm adding an orange here. I'm also going to add a big heaped tablespoon of icing sugar. And I'm going to simmer it hard, really, really simmer it down until it's thick and syrupy. This will help it reduce and go sticky. This is probably going to take 20 to 30 minutes to reduce down. Once the gammon's cooked, let it relax in the broth for about 30 minutes. Remove the gammon, take it to a baking tray. Now, spoon on your sticky marinade. Coat it all over. Use a spoon, use a pastry brush, whatever you've got to hand. Then you're going to have your oven on about 180, 200 degrees C, pretty hot. And the important part is now, every 5 minutes, return back to the gammon and rebaste the juices over it that have collected in the bottom of the tray. The more love and attention you give the gammon at this point, the better the finishing result will be. This will take 20 to 25 minutes until sticky and golden. The gammon's actually cooked at this point. All you're doing is setting the glaze. Here we are with my finished gammon. Obviously those centre slices just look ordinary. They're just like every other piece of meat. But that delicious end piece is absolutely bright pink with mulled wine spices and flavours. An absolute centrepiece. And I love having gammon around at this time of year. Maybe for a meal, for a roast, or maybe just for fridge snacking.
Have you got any carl meat?
Do you know, I have got one little bit of carved meat, yeah.
I wonder if that would work.
It's the shell from a Scotch egg.
Lovely salty gammon, but that sticky, sweet, marmalade-like mulled wine coating is going to make it a hit this time of year. I can't resist just picking at the coating. You've got that sweet stickiness of wine, plus all the spices gathering in there. Makes it an absolute treat. I've cooked gammon before. You might have seen me cook it sous vide, which is a really interesting technique you should check out. But for now, I'm going to carry on with this.